The society of Star Dynasties is built up of these political houses and how they relate to each other. There's the noble houses, which will own a section of a colony, and then there's the ruling houses, which are the most dominant houses in a colony. Some of these ruling houses are so powerful that they will dominate the houses of multiple colonies. These are the leading houses. And some of them are the great houses that will dominate multiple factions across a wide region of space. The actions that characters take in Star Dynasties can also have a moral dimension. So at a simple level, if a character does something bad, everyone's going to think less of them, and vice versa. If they do something noble, they're going to become more popular. If you go to war, everyone's going to think that you're aggressive and that you're not an upstanding member of society. But it's a bit more complex than that, because the same action is going to be perceived differently in different situations. For example, if I go to war, then that's a bad act. But if I go to war against a leader who happens to be my kin, my cousin or my brother, that's going to come across as even more of a heinous act. But further than that, when you do commit an immoral act, a crime, the game will remember that, and the public will then excuse someone who tries to take vengeance for that act. For example, if someone murders your heir, that's obviously a heinous crime. If you now go to war against a leader that tried to assassinate your heir, you're going to be well justified in doing so, because this is an eye for an eye, rough justice world. The moral rules of society act as the foundation of political standing. If you follow the rules, if you behave like an upstanding member of the society, then people will like you. If you don't, if you break the rules, if you move aggressively against your enemies, if you murder and kill on a whim, you're obviously going to look very bad, and you're very quickly going to generate a lot of hostility against you. So a large part of the strategy is to play the political game of looking good in this way. You'll behave morally, not because it's what you want to do, but because you will look good. And conversely, you're going to try to catch your opponents in making certain missteps. If you know a secret about an opponent where they've done something like they've assassinated another character, revealing it is going to help make them less popular. And when you move against them, perhaps with the justification of some crime that they've committed, now you are attacking them under the cloak of righteousness. As a leader, one of your responsibilities is to help your vassals avenge wrongs that have been committed against them. So if a leader were to assassinate someone in the household of one of your rulers, that ruler has limited ability to punish, to get revenge against the action. But they've got the right to come to you and demand justice for that act. So you can see how this starts to create a certain political ramification for you. You might end up in a situation where that leader is actually your ally. But if you want to be seen as a leader that cares about justice, you're now stuck on the horns of a dilemma. Do you move against that other leader and hurt that alliance? Do you ignore that call for justice? That's obviously going to make you look bad with your vassals. So justice is this double-edged sword. If you're asking another leader for vengeance, for justice, then you can try to achieve your political aims that way. But if you're the leader who's being asked to get revenge, then you're going to have some tough choices to make. At the start of the game, as the leader of a relatively small faction, your focus is on how to acquire more territory, whether that's by waging war on your neighbors or taking advantage of their missteps in some way. As the game goes on and you're more successful and you acquire more colonies, you now have to worry about your vassal's attempt at acquiring more territory. So your focus shifts from external conflict to the internal conflict.